My name is Chuck Stevens from Shoppers Farm Supply. I'm going to go over a couple of planters here this morning, give you a few pointers on putting them up after you're through planting for storage. So hopefully when you start out next year, everything will be in good shape. So you start out with the way the planter is setting. You've got some storage stands. When you store the planter, you want to have these stands adjusted so that most of the weight is off the planter. Your gauge wheels, your closing wheels, everything should be off the ground, just barely dragging. If you grab your gauge wheels, you should slowly be able to move them, not have a whole lot of weight on them. Some of the real common stuff a lot of people overlook is your hose tips. These things look pretty bad. You can see all the dirt and grease and stuff. Well, that's just going to get worse as it sits over the winter or until you use it again next year. Your connections, electrical connections, anymore there's lots of electronics on these planters. If there's a cap, make sure you put that cap back in place. A lot of them don't have a cap, like this one is exposed here. And so this one is fairly clean, but if yours is not clean, clean it off with like some contact cleaner. It's a good idea to get a plastic bag and put a plastic bag over there and tie it down to keep the rain and moisture from getting in there as it's setting up. Some obvious stuff, when you got your wings exposed or all the way down, you got this cylinder over here and you got exposed chrome rod. It'd be a good idea to clean that off real good and put some grease over there to keep that thing from rusting. It's a good idea to go look through the whole planter, clean it up. You could use a pressure washer, but if you use a pressure washer, you want to make sure not to spray directly into any kind of electronic components, any kind of the hoppers. Possibly a high pressure washer could damage the plastic material. Clean it up real good, look it over, and if you see any areas like right here, there's some paint that's scratched up, be a good idea to touch up the paint. On your boxes, you want to be careful with this. There's a lot of chemical that's involved in the seeds, so wear the protective clothing, mask, maybe some gloves or something. Clean out your seed hoppers, make sure all of the seed is out of them. On your seed meters, take your seed meters loose, take your seed disc out, clean your seed disc out, clean the meter out real good. Mark the seed disc, like if this came out of row number 1, you want to put it back in row number 1. Now, why would we care what row it came out of? It's all the same. Well, you look at the manufacturing tolerances between the plate and the disc. It's a real critical adjustment in here in this seed hub height. And so we want to put it back in the same hole that it came out of and to store it. When you store it, you want to hang them up on the wall, like you could have a nail on the wall in the side of the barn or something and just hang them up like that. You don't want to stack them. Or another possibility, if you have the boxes that they came in, you could put them back in the box and put them back in the box and store them that away. But most people have gotten rid of the box, so the best option is to put a nail and hang them up like that. On your closing wheels back here, you have some adjustments on your amount of spring tension. It's going to put down pressure. You want to make sure to release that spring tension so there's no spring tension on it. Make sure all of the rows are set up the same way. You inspect your gauge wheels. Like here, this one looks like it's loose. It probably has a bearing that's out. Well, it'd be a good idea to know that now so you can make you a list and fix it before you get ready to start next year. If you're like me, the older I get, the only thing works better on me is my forgetter. So write it down on a piece of paper, have you some notes, and then, okay, this row over here, I need to check my bearings. This one is with your fertilizer attachment. You want to be sure and wash all of this stuff out. So you go back up here to where your inlet is, flush all of that out real good, and when you get through flushing it out, get an air hose and blow it out. One thing else to check on these is your vacuum hoses. You want to clean out all these vacuum hoses. This one here is an older style. It has a cap that you can pull off and you can clean these big vacuum tubes out. Get that clean before you put it up. This is a mechanical transmission. This one actually has 3 transmissions. It's a good idea to take these chains completely off. When you take the chains off, clean them up, spray them down with some chain lube, or you can coil them up and put them in a 5-gallon bucket with some kind of oil in there to keep them lubricated. Why is that important? If you leave these chains out like this, they'll get rust on them, and then it'll have a tight spot. It's very critical on a planter that that seed disc turns a constant, even speed. So if there's a tight spot in the chain, it's going to cause that disc to speed up or slow down. In essence, that's going to cause you a variation of your seed placement. I hope these little tips help you out. I want everybody to have a good experience when they plant next year. If you have any questions, give us a call. Any of our service managers will be more than happy. You can call me. I'll be glad to talk to you. If you have any concerns, we'll be doing some planter inspections. So give us a call. Want to have everybody's planter ready to go so you're not waiting at the last minute to get things going. So, thank you and good luck.